Hello, everyone. Hola, mundo. Welcome, world. And welcome again to Voces Poderosas 2023. My name is Jackie Bouvier, and as you know, I'm shining the light on our nation's most powerful voices of influence. I am creating a movement, and this movement is just inspiring so many people, empowering so many people out there, but it's really bringing through our Latinidad through these powerful and influential voices and listening to their stories. Voces Poderosas, as you know, is a transformative mini series that has been featuring trailblazers and will continue to do it. Spearheads, catalysts, pioneers. All of these professionals have insightful wisdom that will inform, empower, and catapult all of us to the next level. So I'm just super excited, honored to be able to do this. And today, my honor and huge proud moment, I have the grand honor of having Frank Carbajal, founder of Silicon Valley Latino Leadership Summit at Es Tiempo LLC, a man that is just super busy, doing so many amazing things, best-selling author, Latinx business success. He is just a founder and just a chief executive, just somebody that we all want to know, and we want to hear the story behind Frank Carbajal. So, Frank, welcome, and how are you? Tell us who you are. What is your story? And in the spirit of Hispanic Heritage Month, what does that mean to you? What is your culture? Tell us about you. Welcome, Frank.
Buenos dias, Jackie. Thank you all for listening in and all your great listeners and fans, Jackie, of you. I know I know you're doing amazing. I've been following the things that you're doing, and one of my good friends was on your show last week, Andre and Enrique and so many others. I am honored to you know take any questions you have and you had mentioned Hispanic heritage and what it means. For me, I've always been comfortable under my skin, and for me personally, I observed Hispanic Heritage Month, and as many know, the history of it, stems back from the '60s, and then a mentor of mine, Rudy Becerra, when he was working under President Ronald Reagan, put it in President Reagan's ear to extend it from a week long to a month of celebration, a celebration of our leaders, our pioneers, our cultural heritage and leadership. But the observation for me personally, really during COVID and at the height of COVID, I realized that everything, of course, just like we're doing right now, is virtual. And the virtual really prompted me to think, companies are supporting our community, but yet our community as Latinos, Latinx, Latinidad, Latine are making huge contributions to this US economy, being $3.2 trillion worth. But then I thought on the flip side of the coin, the investment. What is the investment power? So I invested, the thought leadership that runs through my body to say that it is important to highlight, spotlight us on a daily basis. And so during the height of COVID, it was during I'm sure you know Claudia Romo Edelman. She had a big event, and then I was observing her event, and uh, each day folks were spotlighting Hispanic heritage, and I said, let's celebrate one another on a daily basis. So I created a hashtag 365 Latino leader, hashtag 365 Latina leader. So outside of October 15th, it started on October 16th. And so what it really means to me is being under your skin on a daily basis, uh, imposing, and I say impose because it's a stronger word, be there, be bold to show who you are on a daily basis as a Latino, Latina, Hispanic in the United States.
Wow, that's powerful. That's amazing that you did that because you kept the momentum going every day of the year, not just the 1 month, right? In terms of highlighting our Latinidad and everyone in this country. And That's why I admire you. I admire the fact that you're a founder, you're starting and doing things and trailblazing. And I think that's so powerful. So thank you for doing that.
No, thank you. And, thank you for what you're doing is the founder of what we talked back in the green room of your daughter inspiring, igniting you to do something that is bold and taking all the interviews of folks that you know in your network this month. And I think we are inspired by our children, but more so we're inspired by our parents. And, the thing that my parents did as far as during the Bracero program in the 1960s. I was born in 1969, and crossing the border to work as migrant workers, farm workers, that is the most bold situation, circumstances any person could succumb. And so for me, I view our immigrants as giants, as folks that, really created the path in order for us to blaze trails for people behind us who are our community. And so yeah, it really is important to point out that every person listening has a founder within them. And
Yes.
and it's really every person has nuggets and stories to share with our community and allies. Because one thing that is important is allyship and understanding that uh, the power of collaboration. I used this word about 10 years ago. Collaborate active is acting on collaboration.
That's powerful. I like that. Collabor act. Let's hashtag
Yeah,
it for you.
thank you.
Oh, Frank, that's awesome. Can you share a little bit, like, tell us, from a professional standpoint, from your experience, what advice can you give all the audience out there or the younger generation, positively, that can encourage them, empower them, or shed light on our professional Latinos?
Be your unique self. Uh, what I mean by unique self is my first book, Building the Latino Future, Success Stories for the Next Generation, because it's intentional to provide next generation, our future leaders, Generation Z, millennials, that the future acronym. I love acronyms that I created with my co-author Humberto Medina at the time. Was that letter of well, there's focus, there's unity, tenacity, unique ability. The fourth letter, unique ability, is what folks should provide is a sense of if they have a second language, say, for example, they're Spanish speaking, Spanish was their first language, never be afraid to show that you're bilingual. Never be afraid to show folks that you're bicultural. And what I
Mm,
mean by that is if you grew up in circumstances of a barrio like I did, then show the pride behind your upbringing. Show the
mm,
pride in a boardroom. For example,
mm.
from the barrio to the boardroom. A friend
Oh, I
of
like
mine wrote,
that from the
yeah,
bottom.
yeah, a friend of mine wrote that book, From the Barrio to the Boardroom, or things that I hashtagged a few weeks ago. See see sweet puede, the corporate boardrooms. Just really understand, just really understanding that you have unique ability to provide folks that happen to be non-Latino your unique self. Do not be
Yes.
afraid. Do not be afraid to provide that, because many of the times what I see is on the other end, I like saying the flip side of the coin, is corporate executives that happen to be non-Latino may view you, and all of a sudden, the Latina or the Latino feel that they need to put a corporate hat on, that
Mm,
corporate mindset. Keep your unique self and add to your corporate insight, but never leave behind your authenticity. Never
mm,
leave behind the fact that you could share with the corporate boardroom that you are a person that speaks a second language, that you are a person that grew up in the barrio, that you are a person that provides insight from your parents who are farm workers. These are elements that really rise a person to the top. Just because, yeah, and yesterday I was a keynote for a corporation, and I said, let's squash the term imposter. Let's try not to use the imposter syndrome word. When I have, during the height of COVID, when I had observed in the backdrop of listening in, and I found out that many women were saying, Latinas were saying, oh, imposter syndrome this, imposter syndrome that. And I am a father of three daughters. So never
Mhm.
feel that you're an imposter. Let's
Right.
squash that term. Let's get rid of that term. So I feel that be unique and bold.
Wow, I'm glad you said that because so what would you replace imposter syndrome with? What would you say would be the best thing to say if you feel like you don't belong, but well, like you said, right? Don't put that corporate hat on, remove it and be your authentic self and don't feel like an imposter, be you, right?
I would replace, I love the question. I would replace it that I am a team player. I am part of this team. In life, many of our kids, I played soccer and I was part of the track team. I was a team player. And
Hmm.
if your kid isn't in sports, they're still a team player. They're a team player, whether it's in the arts, whether their hobby is photography, and they are partnered with another person that they're taking beautiful photographs. That's team. So
Hmm.
if you don't feel that you belong, you impose and you're bold and you say, I'm part of this team and this is who I am. My number, for example, in soccer was number 7. You know,
Hmm.
like
Number.
David Beck. Yeah, good number, lucky number. Like David Beckham, like Ronaldo. It's an important number. And so when you feel that you may not belong, just remind yourself in the morning before you go into that corporate suite or before you go into a nonprofit meeting, whichever meeting it may be, look in the mirror and let yourself know that I am part of this team. And more importantly, I add more to the team because I'm bilingual, I'm bicultural, I'm resilient. I'm a person that's going to go into this room and shake things up.
Amen to that. That's really good. I'm enjoying this because I just put a post out there this last week. Um, I was reflecting, and so I wrote that. I put that imposter syndrome, but because that's how I felt in business school, right? Being the only woman minority in a group of
Yeah.
men, a group, learning. And so a lot of times I felt like I didn't belong. But I think that, like you said, that's a mindset, right? That's
Yeah.
hearing leaders such as yourself. This is why every day I just feel more empowered doing this because hearing it come from someone like you, from Frank, you
Oh,
belong
thank
there,
you.
you
You do.
belong there. This is powerful. You are a powerful voice, and so it changes people's minds and lives, and it empowers all of us to believe that we do belong there because you belong there and because you've paved that way and you've showed that it can happen.
That.
I like it. I like it. I love it. Great advice. Amazing. I agree 100%. The generation is different for sure. And the way we learn and teach and needs to align with the generation and with the times. And I think that's powerful. Thank you for that advice, Frank. Thank you for being here. Thank you for your story, your insight, your powerful wisdom, and truly an honor. I really mean that. And so your voice is going to make such a huge difference through at least this channel, and I know it already is everywhere else. So thank you for being here. Thank you for your time, and thank you for being so kind and saying yes.
Oh, no, thank you and thank everyone and all of the folks that you have interviewed and thank your daughter for creating this thought and your movement. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Gracias.